Former Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher has passed away today at the age of 87. Here with us is the British Ambassador to Israel, Matthew Gold. Hello, and thank you for having us at your embassy. Thatcher was often referred as the Iron Lady. Yeah. What do you think about it?
Well, I think it reflected the fact that she was a woman of enormous strength, of real courage, who had very strong principles, and she kept to those principles. She knew what she believed in, she fought for what she believed in, and I think even the people who disagreed with her respected her strength of opinion. It wasn't a coincidence that the term Iron Lady came originally from the Soviet Union, from a commentator in the Soviet Union.
Let's talk about a little bit about those principles. What were they?
She believed very strongly in freedom. She believed that government needed to get off the backs of people, and that people were at their best when they weren't being given constant instructions by government, when they were given room to make their own choices and take responsibility. She believed in democracy for the same reason, that if you give people a chance to command their own destiny, then they will make better and more responsible choices.
She did a lot of changes referring economics. Do you believe today those changes were right?
Well, she took the UK from a period of real economic stagnation through a period of quite sharp recession into a long period of really successful economic growth. And of course, I mean, if you have two economists, you have three opinions, and they can argue forever about exactly who was to blame and who should get the credit. But the truth is, she took some very tough decisions, which were hard at the time and very unpopular. But I believe they did set up the UK for a long period of economic growth. They made the UK more efficient. They made us more competitive.
If we need to look maybe more global, was it good for the world, this change at the UK?
I think it was. I mean, she did several things which had a global impact. For one thing, her approach to economics was copied all over the world. All over the world still, governments are selling off and privatising the state-owned industries, which in the UK she led the way, and they become more efficient and more effective and more productive as a result. She also had a big impact on the geopolitical history of the world. She was a very clear advocate of freedom. She was an opponent of communism and the repression that communism brought with it. And I think she was one of the key voices that kept the West strong and united, that eventually resulted in the victory of the values of the West.
Did she have any message to Israel?
She was a very strong friend of Israel. I think from the very earliest days she was a member of Conservative Friends of Israel. She made clear in the things she said and the things she did that she believed in Israel and that she was a friend of the Jewish people. She represented a constituency in London, which was one of the places where a lot of the Jewish community lived, and she had a very clear affection and affinity for the Jewish community. In
your opinion, what kind of an Iron Lady will the world, and specifically the UK, will remember for Margaret Thatcher?
I think we will remember somebody who was tough, who had very clear principles and was prepared to stand up for those principles, who knew what she believed in and fought for what she believed in. A woman who was also a mother and a grandmother, who had a tender side, but who led our country, who was a great Prime Minister, a great leader and a great Britain.
Matthew Gold, thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you.